Arteta still plays a 4-3-3, but now it's evolving into something very different. I'll be breaking down how Arteta has transformed the role of his defensive midfielder, why Havertz is changing Arsenal's attack without a fixed position, and the reason we're seeing their left winger receive the ball deeper than every Arsenal midfielder. Let's make it make sense. What exactly has Arteta changed without anyone noticing? And crucially, how has it made Arsenal even more threatening? Well, to understand this, we must begin with their defence, the foundation for the changes in midfield and attack. And within Arteta's 4-3-3, Arsenal's build-up structure, well, it gives them so much control in games. Take a peep at this pass map from goalkeeper David Raya. Now, although he goes long sometimes, he typically plays it short, ensuring that Arsenal retain possession. And when Saliba passes back to him here, Gabriel is already peeling wide, ready to receive the next pass from Raya. And the space that Gabriel generates means that he can turn whilst in possession and look for the next pass, which he plays to Zubimendi. And now what we can see is that Ødegaard and Rice have also come to get involved. Now, this shape, with Zubimendi dropping between the centre-backs, gives Arsenal a three-man build-up. And with fullbacks staying high, they have four players ready to receive in the middle third. And when we zoom out, looking at the tactical camera, we can see that this structure attracts the opposition midfield to press them. And this allows Arsenal to find the gaps and progress the ball into a wide area. And it's this build-up pattern that is something that we frequently see from this Arsenal side. You got Zubimendi's passing network here, which just shows you just how important he is in all of this. Because in possession, everything goes through him. But it's not just all about Zubimendi. Arsenal's fullbacks also play a crucial role in their build-up structure. Ben White and Hincapié are sitting on the same lateral line as Zubimendi here. And that gives Arsenal this five-man base, ensuring short, simple passes, they're always available. Now, their other two midfielders and three forwards create this five-man attack which spreads across the opposition's back line. Have a look here how Ben White looks to play wide to Saka, but the defender can see the pass coming. So White turns away and they shift the ball over to the other side. And now with left-back Hincapié on the ball, he looks to pass to Martinelli, effectively the same pass that Ben White wanted to make on the opposite side. And the beauty of this five-man base is that it allows Arsenal to control the tempo, moving the ball from side to side, waiting for an opening in the opposition's defence. And this makes it very, very difficult for opponents to win the ball back. This graph shows the total amount of passes played along the bottom. The upside is how long they keep the ball on average. And the data shows that whilst Arsenal may not complete as many passes as Manchester City, for example, they do hold possession for longer durations of time. Now, keeping that in mind, let's look at the midfield, which is where the first big tweak comes in. And to do this, we need to take a look at last season, because Mikel Arteta would usually instruct his defensive midfielder to stay in these zones. Now, other players around him, they made movements, such as Timber, who makes a darting run here. And this heat map from last season shows how their defensive midfielder never really wavered in his positioning. But now, have a look at Zubimendi's heat map this season. He is getting on the ball all over the pitch, as opposed to one specific area. But it's not just Zubimendi doing this. What we're seeing this season is the entire midfield constantly rotating. Look here, Declan Rice is now the midfielder in between the centre-backs, with Zubimendi taking up a slightly higher position. And his positioning allows him to receive a forward pass from Raya, and he attracts two Sunderland players, creating space for Arsenal to play through. Another difference that we're seeing in comparison to last season is much more variation in Zubimendi's movement in the opposition half. Here he jumps from defensive midfield to apply pressure. Ødegaard comes out with the ball and Zubimendi immediately breaks forward. He doesn't hesitate. And his positive movement sees him get on the end of Ødegaard's through ball to score. Really positive stuff. And a key part of Zubimendi being able to leave his defensive position is not cavalier play, it's Declan Rice. Saliba has the ball here. Meanwhile, Declan Rice has dropped into a deeper position and is scanning. He knows that if he's the deepest midfielder, Zubimendi has made a run somewhere else. He finds Zubimendi in the final third, who bounces it quickly to Saliba, allowing Arsenal to squeeze up the pitch, forcing all of the Sunderland players back into their defensive third. It's a great partnership, and this Telepathy between Rice and Zubimendi provides the platform to dictate tempo in the final third. Rice is close to the ball here and showing for it. Meanwhile, Zubimendi is in a slightly more advanced position. As soon as Rice gets it, Zubimendi moves backwards. And with Calafiori taking up a position in the half space, Arsenal create this triangle. Really nice stuff. And their high-tempo passes drag several Sunderland players towards the ball, generating a 1v1 situation for Trossard out wide. So, that's 2 of the midfield covered. But what about the third, people? What about the third? Well, against Sunderland, we saw Kai Havertz as part of a 3-man midfield, or did we? Despite reports of a short-term injury setback, Havertz has played a huge role in changing their attack. Despite lining up as the right centre midfielder on paper, he only had a handful of touches in that area. Compare that to Odegaard when he's played in this position and you see an instant difference. But why is this a good thing? Well, Odegaard will often start in this area and then play the ball back to keep things moving. His pass map against Nottingham Forest shows that sideways and backwards passes are a theme and have been all season long. So, how does Havertz differ? Well, look at these average positions versus Sunderland. Not only is Havertz the most advanced of the midfield 3, he's also almost parallel with striker Gabriel Jesus. But it platforms the hybrid nature of this Arsenal squad, none more so than Kai Havertz. And by being hybrid, you can be fluid too. For example, Zubimendi has become advanced here, but Zubimendi then drops back deep to combine with Havertz in a deeper position, which allows Timber, as the fullback, to remain high. And literally 1 minute later, we see the real difference that Havertz offers. He's outside the box, but he signals to Trossard very early. He targets the box to provide an option and gives Sunderland an extra body to worry about. The key thing is that Havertz almost has the freedom of the entire pitch. He comes over to the left-hand side here to get involved and create this triangle, helping to set up a 1v1 situation for Trossard. And yes, the ball doesn't come to Havertz, but he continues his run and is now in loads of space in the box. A place that he is comfortable in and is effective too, not just as a midfielder, but as that hybrid player who's played in forward positions. And so, in a very short space of time, Havertz targeted 3 different zones of the pitch, making him incredibly difficult to mark. His role is more than just a midfielder. It's played a massive part in completely reshaping the attack. So this is a shape that we've come to expect from Arsenal's forwards, with everyone in their set positions. When Arsenal built up, the front 3 rarely gravitated away from their designated positions and chose to target spaces in behind. But this changed against Sunderland. This is the heat map of their striker, Gyökeres, earlier in the season, with the majority of his touches coming centrally. Now, look at Gabriel Jesus in the same position recently. Most of his touches have come out wide. Despite both being strikers on paper, they're taking up 2 completely different roles. And with Jesus in the team, it gives you something different. It means that Arteta can have the forwards rotate, the same tactic that we saw in midfield. Don't believe me? Check this out. Arsenal are in build-up here, but look at Kai Havertz. He moves out wide, dragging a Sunderland player with him to create space in the middle. Trossard swaps position comfortably, happily, moving centrally to take up that space. And look where Trossard gets the ball. He's deeper than every Arsenal midfielder. And Havertz moves back, forcing a defender to follow. By overloading this side of the pitch, Arsenal have engineered 1v1 scenarios in multiple areas. Look at Havertz here. He's dropped centrally and has drawn the opposition's centre-back out of his defensive line. Then he spots Timber pushing up, so he drifts into a wider position. He instructs Raya to play it to Zubimendi. This is because he's trying to engineer a passing lane into Trossard. And Trossard eventually receives in midfield, and look at the rotation that's taken place. Jesus has drifted wider while Madueke has now moved centrally. What's so impressive about this Arsenal squad is that it has these hybrid players who can play in these different positions, but it also has a squad full of different profiles of players everywhere you look. Meaning that you can sub on someone like Gyökeres and totally change your style. And with that comes a different type of threat. Trossard has the ball here, and you can see that Havertz is still making these supporting runs into the final third. And when he receives the ball in the left half space like this, it destabilises opposition defences who they're not really sure who is meant to be marking him. And the great thing about this is that it causes urgency in the box, creating space for others in the process. And when you have Gyökeres firmly targeting the middle, chances will naturally arise for him. And it did. Arteta's system is evolving at the perfect time as they compete for the league title. Another manager implementing this tactic is Michael Carrick. To see how he's doing it effectively, click here.